Hello and welcome to the show. Today's episode is going to be one of those rambling ones because I'm not at home. Well, actually, I'm in Makudi, back home in the sense. You know how we Nigerians talk now. Because I'm Tim, I'm from Benue State. And wife and I thought it would be a good idea to spend Christmas back home with grandma again. And yeah, so we've been spending some time in Makudi, and Christmas yesterday was fun. Good food, good drink, family members, and we had an absolute blast. And I hope that you guys also had a blast wherever you are celebrating your Christmas of 2024. Now, today is going to be a rambling episode because before Christmas, I had a conversation with a podcast listener, and let me shout him out, Uche Emmanuel. He discovered the show on Spotify, and then he reached out to me on WhatsApp. We had a bit of a chat back and forth, and then later on, we had some conversations. As usual, I wanted to be real helpful, and there were some things I wanted to tell him, like from big bro to little bro, because there's lots of these people, younger men, usually, who are reaching out, want to learn a thing or two, or who want to get a thing or two, but then they have their outreach totally mixed up. So I tried to make it a personal favor just to teach them a bunch of stuff. And so today, what we're going to be looking at is how to do outreach or have conversations with total strangers when you're trying to get something out of it. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. And like I said, it was a rambling conversation with me and the young man. So don't expect the things that I'm going to say from here on to follow a coherent thought. But either way, I trust that there's going to be some stuff that will be useful to you guys if you find yourself ever in this sort of situation. And by the way, don't worry. It's something that we all find ourselves, it's a situation that we all find ourselves universally in because it's just human nature. Because like I told Uche Emmanuel during the conversation, there's going to be a time when I meet Dangote or Elumelu or Moabudu. And of course, when I do meet them, there is going to be an angle, and there's going to be several things that I want to get with them, several deals that I hope to do with them, or several business relationships that I hope to build with them or to get out of them. So it's normal. It's a universal thing. We just need to learn how to do outreach right and how to have conversations with strangers right. Now, if you'd love to connect with me, explore opportunities, then call me or message me on 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234 for those of you who are not Nigerian. That's my WhatsApp number. Or connect with me on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. So, back to what I was saying, how to do outreach and how to have conversations with strangers. Now, before I go into some of the things that I discussed with Uche Emmanuel, I would like to say just one thing, because, like I said, yesterday was Christmas Day, today is Boxing Day, and this is the time of year where certain individuals are just running around like idiots, asking the question, was Jesus Christ really born on December 25th? So I'd like to address that question today because there's a surprisingly huge amount of ignorance about this sort of thing. Now, sometimes you can tell what a word means by just looking at the word and trying to break it down into its component parts. Now, Christmas is made up of two words. There's Christ, and then there's Mass. Now, if you're Catholic, or if you live in the Orient, those of you who are in Jerusalem, Syria, where else? Afghanistan, Turkey, the Arabian Peninsula, the early places where Christianity came from. Because for some reason in Nigeria, we assume that Christianity is a white man's religion, in quote. I'm here to tell you Nigerians that Christianity is not a white man's religion. Christianity is a religion that came from the Orient. Jerusalem, Turkey, Syria, Arabia, those sorts of places. Africa, Ethiopia, the Horn of Africa, those sorts of places. That is where Christianity originated from. So yes, the missionaries that brought Christianity to this part of the world happen to be white, but that doesn't make Christianity a white man's religion, in quote. So, those of us who are Catholic, or those of us who are Christians still living in the Orient, we know that Christmas, is just Christ Mass. So what that means is, it is the day that we celebrate the Mass of Christ. A Mass is a liturgical celebration. Or let me just say a mass is a much more formal Christian service, if we can put it that way. Now, since it is a liturgical celebration or a public observance or a commemoration, it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to the date when Jesus Christ was born. It is just a day that the Universal Church, the Catholic Church, has picked to commemorate the birth of Christ. The considerations for fixing December 25 are liturgical considerations, not necessarily historical or cultural or any other thing. So for those of you who pick this time of year to start running around saying, was Jesus Christ really born on December 25th? You guys are missing the point. It's like Martin Luther King Day. If anybody runs around saying, look, Martin Luther King was not born on July something, 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 people will just laugh at you and say, look, stop being a child. It's a day that we have picked to commemorate him, and it have been picked for any number of reasons, and it doesn't have to be tied to his death or to his birth. It's the same thing. So when is Martin Luther King's Day, for those of you who are American, celebrated, whether it's the day he was born or not. And it's the same thing, Christmas, a liturgical celebration where we celebrate the Mass of Christ. So December 25th, it has nothing to do with the date of his birth. And sometimes those of you running around saying, he wasn't born on December 25th, it sounds kind of childish. And so what? It's a liturgical celebration. Nothing more. Anyway, so let me move on. How to do outreach and how to have conversations with strangers. Sorry for going off on that rant. It's just that at this time of year, the anti-Christmas people, they really do my head in. And I guess it's about time, some of us start trying to educate other people about what Christmas is really about. So, where was I? So the conversation that I had with Uche Emmanuel. Now, the first thing I told Uche Emmanuel was that what to do when you miss a meeting. Now, the reason why I brought that up was because Uche and I were supposed to have had a conversation at an earlier time and at an earlier date. But since I started running the podcast, I realized that, some of you want to have a conversation, and I'm down with that because I'll talk to as many of you guys as possible because I always love meeting listeners. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you guys are about. I want to know what challenges that you're solving. And I want to know the information that you need to make your businesses better, to improve your careers, to improve your hustle, so that the podcasting episodes that I make are going to be relevant and tailored to you guys. So I always love meeting you guys. But I have stopped being a timekeeper. So if you reach out to me and I tell you that, hey, cool, I'm busy right now, but let's have a phone call. I'll be free Friday, 5:30. Call me. I am not going to call you on Friday at 5:30. I'm not going to set a reminder and then call you. You're the one who wants to take up time on my calendar. You should take the responsibility to call me because I'm trying to build a business here. I have clients to chase. I have projects that I'm working on. I'm not going to carry the extra cognitive load of trying to manage meeting times between you and me. So if you reach out to me, it is your responsibility to make sure that the meeting happens. I have told you I'll be available Friday 5:30. The rest is up to you. So now what I do is Friday 5:30 comes and you don't call. It's your loss. It's not mine. I'm offering my free time here. If you are not going to do the decent thing of marking time and making sure that it happens, then that's on you, not on me. So first thing I told him was, look, it's normal that things happen because in his own case, something did come up. NEPA was terrible that time, as in really, really terrible. Even for those of us who have inverters in Abuja, we were struggling to cope. So, batteries needing to be charged, all those sorts of things. So I understand perfectly well. But I told him next time, this is what you do. And I'm sharing this information with you guys so that next time, this is precisely what you should do. And by the way, when I do get my shot to meet with Dangote, this is precisely what I'm going to do if I'm not able to make that meeting. So I told him, now look, Uche, next time, this is how you run it. If you're not going to be able to make a meeting, if you think you're going to miss a meeting, then warn the other person ahead of time. And when I say ahead of time, I mean well ahead of time. Personally, for me, short notice is 1 hour. In other words, if the meeting is going to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 2 o'clock I can't make it, I call the person straight up. Look, bros, no vex. I beg, this what came up. I can't be there again at 3 o'clock. Can we reschedule for later today or some other time? The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to be polite. When you've fixed up a meeting time with someone else and you tell the person Friday, 3 p.m., the person has cancelled some other obligations that he could have had or she could have had for Friday at 3 p.m. So the very least you can do if you can't make it is to let the person know ahead of time so they'll know how to plan their life. And that's the reason why I say give them notice well ahead of time. For me, short notice is 1 hour. Typically, I like to aim for 2 or 3 hours. In other words, if I can't make the meeting for 3 p.m., I like to let people know by 12 noon on the dot that, hey, sorry, I'm still stuck here. This thing came up. It's looking like this. I might not be able to make 3 p.m. again. When you give people that kind of notice, 2-3 hours, achieves two things. Number one, they're able to plan their life. They've been given enough time. The thing that they canceled before to make time for you, they're going to be able to now bring that back online. Then number two, it shows that you value their time and that they are important. Because nothing says you're not important or a diss so much as when you people have agreed Friday at 4. You're now chilling Friday at 4, meeting venue. 4 o'clock, nothing. You call the person 4:10, they don't answer. 4:15, you send a message, no response. I mean, that absolutely says, look, your time is worth nothing, or I don't value you, I don't send you, I don't regard you, I don't rate you. That's how it comes across. So that's what I told him, and that's what I'm telling you guys today. Don't worry about canceling meetings. Meetings get cancelled all the time. We're human beings. Just let the person know as soon as reasonably possible that you can't make it. Give them enough time. If you're cutting it close, give them 1 hour and let them know so that they can plan and do something else. I prefer 2-3 hours. And this is how I plan it. Let me give an example. So currently right now, I'm in Makudi. Let's say I fix a business meeting in North Bank because I'm on the other end of the river. So if I fix a meeting on North Bank, so from here to North Bank would take roughly 20 minutes. That's to drive there. Now, if the meeting is for 3 and I need 20 minutes, let me just push it small, let's say 30 minutes. That means I must be in the car by 2:30 to say I'm driving there. By the way, I like arriving 30 minutes ahead of time. So I would plan to be there by 2:30. So that means I should be in the car by 2. Now, for me to be in the car by 2, it means, the kids must have eaten, everybody is set, Momsy is set, wifey is set, everything in the house is set. So I'm assuming that means I would have liked to have sorted out Momsy and the kids and wifey 30 minutes earlier. So that means by 1:30, I would have liked to finish everything. Now, this is the reason why I'm able to give people notice several hours ahead. Because if for some reason it is just at that 1:30 that I'm beginning to make sure, like the children have eaten, or Momsy, am I supposed to check anything? Do you want me to get anything for you? Or wifey, do you need something? If at 1:30 I'm still doing all that, I now know it is a given I'm not going to be there at 3 o'clock. It's a given. And this is how you guys should start reasoning this thing. I can now pick up the phone and I'll call the guy and say, bro, I beg, I said I'll be there, North Bank, 3 o'clock. No vex. Something just came up, Momsy, and the kids. It's looking as if I might not be able to make it again. So how far? If I show by 4:30, is that still cool? And then you start the conversation. So this is how I'm going to advocate that you guys start planning this thing. And that was my first piece of advice to Uche Emmanuel. If you're going to miss a meeting, let the person know ahead of time. Short notice is 1 hour. If I give the person 2 or 3 hours, it will help. In fact, if you're based in Lagos, try and give the person even longer time, because you know how it is in Lagos now. Because sometimes to drive to the meeting, the person even has to leave like 2 hours ahead. So to saying that you're giving somebody 2 hours notice in Lagos, it doesn't really help. But in Abuja, 1 hour's notice, no problem. That'll be cool. Lagos, Port Harcourt, during the rainy season, or depending the part of Port Harcourt where you are, I don't think 2 hours notice itself is even good. Then, we also had the conversation about how it should not always be about you. Don't just show up and talk about what you want. Try and talk about important initiatives and business concerns or personal concerns going on in the other person's life. So I'm not going to stress that over here on the podcast because we have lots of podcast episodes that I've done about that. The example that I gave to Uche Emmanuel is something I've already given on the podcast. I've spoken about how the very first day that I meet Mo Abudu or I meet Dangote, I'm not going to be talking about everything from my own perspective, what I need, how much money I need to raise, or why I'm the greatest or I'm the best. So currently, with the stuff that is going on in Dangote's life, the one that catches my fancy is the fact that they have set up their family office in Dubai. And his youngest daughter, the one that studied law, is the one who is heading the family office. That's the one that catches my interest. So I'll start the conversation from there. I'll be like, bigger bros, well done, sir. It's an honor to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. How's the family office going? Oh, by the way, I'll do some research ahead of time to know his daughter's name. So she's running it now. I'm just curious as so why Dubai and what's the strategy? And I hear the man talk. Because I'm sure that people in his own situation love dishing out wisdom to young men who are willing to listen. And I hear the guy talk. I'll learn some stuff. I won't make it me, 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 me. Listening and talking about the other person is very powerful flattery, and it can get you a lot. It's the only difference between, if let's say it's 5 of us that met him that day, it's going to make a difference between who he remembers. Oh, okay, that young man, that young TV man, that guy from Benue State, that interesting guy, the former lawyer. That's one way that people stand out. So I told him, we don't have to make all these interactions about me, 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 what I want, and all of that. So some flattery. Do some research ahead of time. Make the conversation other-centered. Give yourself a chance to stand out. That's part of the stuff that Uche Emmanuel and I spoke about. Now, Uche Emmanuel wanted some tips about creating content. And I wanted to know why he wants to create content. He came up with the usual thing of, I'm creating content because I want to help people, blah, blah, blah. That whole universal goodness, preach the gospel, that kind of thing, that whole thing. And for me, I'm a little bit cynical, so I like to cut straight to the chase. I told him, look, dude, if this thing is just about speaking out of the goodness of your heart, you're going to burn out. This thing is not going to last. So be straight with me. What is this thing about? He now said, okay, well, he also wants to see how he can use it to get some visibility because he's an artist and he's a graphic designer. So him teaching people about Band Lab and digital audio workstations. For those of you who are not in the music game, there's some things called digital audio workstations. There are things that you use to produce beats, to make music. So I did some music production back when I was in university. That's why I know about some of these things. But back then, my brother and I, we used to use Fruity Loops to create all our music. Fruity Loops. And I think the editing one was it Soundwave or something? Soundwave or Shockwave, I can't remember. So BandLab and all these new ones, especially the ones that you can use on mobile phones, I'm not familiar with them because, to be honest, since I left uni, I haven't done any kind of audio production whatsoever. So he was now saying that him creating videos, putting up content about how to use BandLab and things like that, videos about music production, that's the scope, is to provide more visibility of himself as an artist and as a graphic designer, so he could possibly advertise his graphic design services. And I told him, yeah, Uche, now we're talking. I now see what's in it for you. And I told him that you need to know exactly what is in it for you because that is what is going to keep you going. If it's just about preaching to people about how you can produce music for free and you're trying to help the whole universe, you will burn out because you're trying to help the universe. You're trying to help everybody. But who has I helped before? You will burn out. It's just normal. But if you know that, okay, I'm doing this specific hustle because I'm trying to promote myself as an artist, that is what will keep you going. So we need to be very clear about our why when we're looking to produce content online, when we're trying to do content marketing for our businesses. We need to be very clear on what the goal is from the beginning. If your goal is fuzzy, you're not going to have staying power. So the reason why I have made over 1,004 episodes now, readily available on this podcast channel and on YouTube, is precisely because I know what I'm trying to use this for. I'm using the podcast to position myself for thought leadership, to leverage this for speaking, for training and consulting opportunities. I'm very clear. And that's the reason why I don't get tired. Oh, well, even if I get tired, I have a clear aim. So there's enough to keep me going. And there's enough to let me know, to measure my progress, whether I'm making progress or not. So you guys need to be very clear before you say, I'm going to start doing YouTube videos. I'm going to start podcasting. I'm going to be writing a daily blog. I'm going to be posting on LinkedIn every day. I'm going to be posting on Facebook every day. You need to be very clear. Trying to say, oh, I love human beings and I just want to help everybody. That is not going to cut it. You will burn out. I'm telling you this for free. So know what it is you're doing. And I'm glad that Uche Emmanuel admitted that, he also wants to get some visibility out of this. Good. It's not bad that you want to get something out of it. It's not bad at all. Taking care of yourself is perfectly fine, perfectly normal. You should do the same. So help other people, teach other people, but also make sure that there's also a scope that leads back to you at the end of the day. That's what's going to keep us going. So the why is going to give you your staying power. Now, the next thing when we are talking about content is we're going to figure out content format. For him, he decided on video. He's going to be doing screen recordings because BandLab, it works on the phone. So the guy is going to be making screen recordings as he is using the phone to be producing the music. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. He's also going to be doing selfie videos where he talks about audio music production. Then he's going to be doing collaboration videos in YouTube style or podcasting style to promote himself as well. And fantastic. The reason why he's picking audio format is obvious, because he's trying to show people something, and the best way to show people something is to use video. And I told him I was smart, because the two ideas that he has spoken about, screen recordings and selfie videos, it is very easy to do, so long as you have a decent phone. And he has a decent phone, so no wahala. The only problem will just be these collaboration videos, because the problem with working with other people is you now have to schedule it around when it is convenient for them. Then editing is now important, because there's going to be two sets of mistakes. I mean, if it's just me and I sneeze once on this recording, assuming I used to edit, I only have to clean one set of sneezes. But if it's the other person and I sneeze once and then he sneezes, or I sneeze and then later on he yawns, I now have to, it multiplies the editing. So I told him that one, and it's going to require some scheduling. It's going to be quite a bit of work, but it looks like he's up for it. So that's it. Then I now told him that what he has to focus on right now is content calendar. So for those of you who are also thinking a content marketing approach or some content approach that is going to help you promote your business, promote your services, content calendar is absolutely essential. Because the thing that kills people when it comes to producing content is when you wake up every day and you decide, this is what it is that I'm going to say. If I waited until today, this morning, to decide this is what I'm going to podcast about, guess what? Making a podcast episode would have been hell, would have been work. But I decided several days ago, now okay, on December 26th, I'm going to share the conversation that I had with Uche Emmanuel. So there was nothing for me to think about today. It was just a matter of waking up and saying, where are my notes that I took during the conversation? Once I found the notes, I said, okay, that's it. That's the outline of everything that we're going to talk about. I already confessed to you guys that it's going to be rambling. I'm just looking at the notes and I'm picking up some things. I'm saying, okay, this one is important, stress it. This one is not important, fashy. And that's what I'm doing. So you can see, in a way, I do have a content calendar that determines what it is that I'm going to do. And that's the reason why 1,004 episodes, I'm still here. If you don't have a content calendar, this is what you would do, statistically speaking. Most people publish only one episode. I repeat, most people publish only one episode. If you don't believe me, try. Your friends that were saying that they wanted to start podcasts, no problem, ask them. Oh, guy, what's that your podcast again? Go and check. You see that most of them published only one. Then the people who really, really try, they don't publish more than 10. And this thing is called pod fade. That means you start and then you fade away. But remember, most people publish only one. The people that try after them do not publish more than 10. Do not publish up to 10. The reason why they don't do that is because they don't have a content calendar, because it is work to wake up today and say, what will I post? Then you wake up tomorrow and then you say, what will I post? And then you wake up the day after tomorrow and then what will I post? And then next week, what will I post? After a while, man, the stress is just much. So content calendar, you need it. And that was the big piece of advice that I gave to Uche Emmanuel. Content calendar, that's what you need to sort out. So if you're in Uche's situation, content marketing, content production, that's what you want to use to move the business forward. Content calendar, that is what you need to get things going. Now, I didn't want to repeat myself about content calendar because, I talk about these things all the time, so I just don't like repeating myself, especially since I have resources on the matter. So I shared some resources with Uche Emmanuel on WhatsApp. So one of them was, what was it? Okay, yes, there was a session I did with the ladies in Abuja. So day 1, digital marketing for women, content creation. I repeat, it is called Day 1. That's the title, Day 1, digital marketing for women, content creation. I shared that episode with him, and I recommend you guys listen to that episode too, because I spoke a bit about content creation there. Then I also shared with him episode 367, that is content creation versus promotion. That's the episode where I spoke about it's not how much content you create, but how well you promote the content. Because if you're creating the content but you're not promoting it, nobody is seeing it. If nobody is seeing it, then you are not promoting yourself or giving visibility as an artist or a graphic designer. You're just producing these things for your own consumption. So it's not about how much you produce. It is about how well you promote. I'm repeating it again because there's some people who will start and maybe in the beginning your wife or your girlfriend listened or watched it, or maybe your father shared it or something. So week 1, maybe 20 views. Week 2, maybe only like 11 views. You just lose morale. It's about promotion. Like you continue, you share, try and get more exposure. In the beginning, nobody is listening. It will start climbing small. That's how it works. All right, so it's about promotion, not just creation. Then I also shared with him, with Uche Emmanuel, also shared episode 397. That is a content creation for growing your business. So let me check my notes. Let me see if I shared any other one with him. Yeah, I think that's all that I shared for now. So the conversation with Uche Emmanuel was a while ago. So to be honest, there's a bunch of stuff that we spoke about that I can't remember. But these are the key things that I tried to emphasize with him and that I'm hoping are going to provide value to you guys over here. So summary, when you're doing outreach to other people and trying to have conversations with total strangers, don't make it all about you. If you show up and it's just me, wah, it's not fun. The only way you're going to stand out if you show up to somebody well prepared, you've done some research, and then you start talking about things that are relevant to them. So the day that I meet Tony Olumelu, and I say, Uncle Tony, inspiring, been seeing your work, and then, of course, do some research ahead of time, figure out challenges that they have. Okay, well, yeah, he's in banking, but he seems to be really serious with this Tony Elumelu Foundation right now. And something associates, the people that own Hilton Hotel, because he owns Hilton Hotel through that arm. So if I show up and I start talking about initiatives with the Tony Elumelu Foundation and the inroads that they're making in other parts of Africa, like Eastern Africa, South Africa, and then I also talk about things with his holding company for the Hilton Hotel. Yes, and then his daughter is also managing some important portfolio. I think the daughter heads the organization that bought over Hilton. So if I start talking about those things, it's a much more interesting way to start the conversation than for me to show up and say, hey, Tony Olumelu, nice to meet you. I am a business growth consultant. I am a podcaster. I am a this. I am a that. I am this. He gets that 50 million times a day. But if we show up, it looks like this is a humble young man who's willing to learn from Uncle Tony. I'm like, hey, Uncle Tony, been noticing this, been noticing things. How far with this? How far with that? Oh, that's really interesting, sir. Maybe I might even try and flex more creativity and say, oh, sir, have you considered this? Perhaps if you look at it like this, maybe that. That's going to be a much more interesting conversation. Definitely, he won't take my phone number. I think I might be able to get his PA's phone number. But at least when I call in the future, he'll be able to say, oh, that TV boy, Abby, that guy from Benue State, that guy, former lawyer, Podcast, okay, I remember him. So that's the way forward. What else? If you can't make the meeting, let the person know. Give them notice. Reschedule. It's polite. It shows people that you think that they're important. If you're based in Lagos, don't let anybody know in 1 hour because the person is already driving to make sure that he's there. Give the person several hours notice. Same thing if it's Port Harcourt, rainy season. When it rains in Port Harcourt, traffic, absolute terrible. So let's see what else. Yes, then if you're going to use content creation to promote your business, then remember that it's all about the content calendar. The content calendar is just the thing that you create that tells you what are you going to publish this week, what is the focus for next week, what is the focus for next month, what is the focus for this year. Decide all of these things ahead of time. Then remember that it's not just about how much content you create, but it's about how well that you promote, which is why I keep sharing the YouTube links on LinkedIn and in other places. And if you're looking for those resources that I shared with Uche Emmanuel, remember, the first one is called Day One. What is that called? Day One, Digital Marketing for Women, Content Creation. The next one was titled Episode 367. That's 367. Content Creation versus Promotion. Then after that was episode 397, Content Creation for Growing Your Business. Those are the resources that I shared with Uche Emmanuel. There's not going to be any shout out today, precisely because the shout out for today is Uche Emmanuel. Thank you very much for listening to the show. Please share these resources with other people who are going to find them useful for growing their business, improving their careers, and promoting their hustle. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time and attention. Remember to connect with me by calling or texting me on 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234 for those of you who are not Nigerian. Also, connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Tavishima Ayede. Ignore my other social media handles, please. They are going away next month. I've already set the ball rolling to delete Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but everything in the Meta family requires 1 month's notice before you switch it off. So all the other handles are going away. LinkedIn is the only place that you're going to be able to find me for now. Who knows? Maybe in 2 or 3 years, I might even get rid of the LinkedIn anyway. Because I won't lie, social media is work. It's real work. So that's it. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have fun. Enjoy the holidays. For those of you who are anti-Christmas, in fact, if you're anti-Christmas and you reach out to me on WhatsApp, let me know. Let me see if I can educate you on some stuff. But some of you, the way you guys are carrying it is not that deep. The level of malice some of you are carrying in your hearts about this Christmas thing is not that deep. It's not that deep. Yeah, it seems consumerist and commercial and everything, but you don't even have to play it that way. So if you're Catholic or you live in the Orient, of course, we know what it is. You have your Christmas obligation to attend Mass. Attend Mass. Go and pray. Once you've done that, you met your obligations. Finish. If you can afford chicken, good. If you can't afford chicken, it's all good. The beef some of you are carrying are too much. And it doesn't matter whether Jesus Christ was born on December 25th or March 25th or July 25th. It's a liturgical thing. So you should stop running around with your hair on fire that, he wasn't born on December 25th. And so then what? If you find out that he was actually born on 1st of January and we move this thing to 1st of January, because of that, does that mean you now start celebrating Christmas? You guys need to calm down. You're making these things unnecessarily deep. It's not that deep. So just relax. If you don't want to flex, don't. It's a preference. If you want to flex, do. But of course, flex responsibly. Especially nowadays that security is, one kind. Because even in Makudi now, they don't do vigil mass by 10 o'clock at night. It used to be 10 o'clock at night and would carry over into maybe about 1 a.m., 2 in the morning. So even now, the vigil mass is 8 o'clock. By 10ish, 11 is finishing so that everybody can go home. Because with kidnappings going on and insecurity and all that. Anyway, let me just wrap it up. 34 minutes. So I'll catch you guys in the next episode.